this needs to change. You're not doing right. If you continue like this is how you end up. Do you want to end up like this? No. So change. Not, no, I know it's tough. No, yay. The Soul Engineer back again with another episode of this podcast. Welcome back if you are returning, and if you're new here, welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. We're back here again with another episode. It's been quite a while since we've recorded the last one, because of situation beyond our control. So yeah, I'm glad to be back, and let's make many more good ones.
Yeah, let's make many more good ones, So, I don't know. Should we just dive into this? I feel so old and rusted because we haven't shot in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an issue. You can always just, free up. Let's talk about how your semester has been, since that's pretty much what encompasses our lives at the moment.
Semester's been the hits. I don't know if I'm a student anymore. It's just I'm being serious. There's so much work that I don't understand and I don't know how to understand, but I'm grappling myself around,
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I still have to get the work submitted. It has to be looked at. I have to get there's this thing called as a chart where they sign you off for the semester to mark your work as completed, and you did the work and that and all of that.
So it's kind of, I think the equivalent this side is like DP. Where basically, you did all the assignments, you passed the course and all that. Then you can move on to the next stage.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to hustle on right now. Mm-hmm. And I just want to work on that. So, hey, it's been a rough semester for me, TBH. But we move, Maggie. We move.
Yeah, we move. I can relate, especially when you say it, you don't know whether you're a student or not, because a lot of the times I'm just like, is this really the student life? Because there's the inconsistent sleep schedules, the poor dieting, there's so much inconsistency in my life. I feel like it's very hard. Since we came back from the mid-semester break for myself, which was, I think, beginning of November, I felt like I was low-key on holiday, fam. I didn't feel like I was not in a good way though, because course was still challenging, but I didn't feel like I had that needed work ethic. I feel like I'm just getting over the line and not actually doing everything to the best of my ability.
The necessary thing. I think that's me, ever since the semester started. I'm still shocked 3 months has passed by. September, October, November is about to end.
Mm-hmm.
And I only remember starting to take school seriously in November.
Yo, that's crazy.
I was still trying to get my ropes around things, dog. I don't even know my October. It just passed
time has been flying. Despite the lockdown and the pandemic, time has really been moving quick. Already, I feel like I just blinked and already we're at the end of the year.
Brav.
So time has been moving really quickly. But then I guess that's how school is. Probably before you know it, you're already graduating. I feel like time moves really quick when you have a lot of things occupying you.
True, yeah. And also me trying to do this whole podcasting thing, trying to take photos, and all this other stuff I'm committed to.
Yeah.
You feel like, hey, Baba, it's too much.
It's a lot, eh?
Yeah, but I think it builds the best in us. With time you learn to manage it. That's why with time you learn, okay, in order for me to fulfill everything that I wish to fulfill, I have to have a strict schedule. I have to be addicted to what I'm doing, and I can't let any minute slip.
Yeah, because as soon as you let one thing slip, then it becomes a domino effect of a lot of things falling apart.
Exactly. So that's just how it is. If you let something slip, which is bound to happen because we are human, dog. You can't have a consistent 365, 24/7 schedule that works like you're a robot. If something slips, you just have to muster up that patience and that level of emotion to say, okay, it's okay. It happens, but we have to keep moving.
We have to keep moving, yeah, because as soon as you stop, you're making life way harder for yourself.
Yeah, you have two options: to keep moving or to stop. And stopping doesn't make anything better. You might
Yeah,
as
I
well.
was actually speaking to this friend of mine, and you were saying uni
Yeah,
has kind of put him in a different mindset when it comes to applying himself to certain things, be it going to the gym, be it the course in itself, or any other endeavors that he goes into, because it
yeah,
teaches you that perseverance. It teaches you that principle of moving on and kind of not sulking and throwing your toys out of the pram. So that mentality, I guess, is what's going to be developed within us in the next few years and take us into adulthood, which, it's quite a daunting concept in itself, but
so
it's
you
something
can't
that you
afford to
have to
sulk
go
in uni.
into.
Can't afford, like, you literally can't afford to sulk in uni, dog. Like, if you think about it,
Mhm.
there's so much you have to do, dog. Like,
Yeah.
lecturers also, some lecturers are just terrible in like giving you either enormous amounts of work, or they're like, okay, they give you work that's due like within like a day or two, and
Mhm.
that's just unrealistic. And you're like, hey, this is painful, but Baba, the reality of the story is life is painful and you can't afford to sulk.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
saying
one thing I had to learn is that, a lot of these people, they're human beings, so there are going to be mistakes made,
a
like, for
lot.
example, deadlines, be it answers to certain questions, or a practical you're supposed to do, which means your deadline is pushed further, and that makes your working time more constricted. And
More
you kind of
constraints.
have to work with those things, because even in real life, when you're actually going to be working in the
Mm-hmm.
engineering field, your supervisor might make specific mistakes, or the people you work with, and it's not always going to seem fair, but that's just how life is, and you have to kind of adapt to the situation that is handed to you.
That's just how it is. So, hey, that's how it is. So, I guess, I mean, that's the nice part about uni is you learn something, and you come out a broken person, you probably were refusing to learn. I mean, I'm not saying uni is fully designed for everyone. Like, it's not a template for
Yeah,
everyone.
it's yeah, because it's way that's a black and white kind of mentality of
The-
university is going to really take you to where you're supposed to be, of which is the reason why it's not conducive for everyone, and that some people actually thrive when they
Mhm.
kind of decide to do their own thing other than go through that structural stage of development.
Exactly.
Yes, people are different, so of course it's going to affect people in different ways.
In many different ways. So all you just have to do is to choose to be different, in the sense that choose to strive to be a better person, not choose to be unique or whatever, but like choose to be different to how you used to be before you notice that you're struggling. You know,
Hmm.
if you see that you're struggling in uni, or like you see something not wrong, choose, okay, there's this, and see how you can solve it. Like I said, sulking. Hey, Baba, that's a hard thing I've learned. That's a hard thing I learned. I used to sulk. That's in September. A lot of my September just sunk. I don't understand this. These teachers don't care. I started school late. I did start school late.
Hmm.
I was like, at some point I was like, you know what, I'm fed up. I'm not gonna do this anymore because I'm tired, etc., etc., etc. But work was piling, and work needs to be submitted, so on and so forth.
Yeah, the world
So
doesn't wait for you to finish sulking.
no, Baba, it won't. It shall never, and it will never, until I don't know until when. But that's just how it is. The world won't wait for you. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I think you can jump into the first part of the podcast. Well, not the first part, but what are you actually here to talk about?
Hmm.
What are you actually here to talk about? Failures that made you a better person. Failures that made you a better person and how they made you a better person.
Yeah, I think that when you spoke to me about it and you wanted us to discuss this, it kind of had me thinking of what has happened since I was born, pretty much, because it's not really a long life that I've lived. 21
Exactly.
compared to other people. That's I'm a baby, so of course I kind of had to really think and reach deep down and see those certain scenarios that looked like they would have a negative impact, but overall actually had a positive impact on my life. And even certain things that I might have thought even before I kind of had to think about that. Those things kind of had a bad thing, but I kind of had to look for the good in some of the things, because a lot of the time when we are in negative situations and negative scenarios, it's very hard to see the good in the things that happen to us, what benefits they have to us as a person. So I think, it's quite an interesting topic. Why don't you give us like your earliest encounter with failure?
Yeah.
The earliest that you can remember.
Earliest encounter with failure. Okay. My earliest encounter, wait, before we start, if anyone also has failures they want to talk about, leave it in the comments below,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, what's your earliest encounter with failure as a motivator thinking? Okay, I think my earliest encounter with failure, well, the biggest encounter that I had, not that there were no encounters before that, was when I was in standard 6. Standard 6, thereabout. Standard 6, I was known for being like a smart kid. I'd always do my work. I'd always what's this called? I would always do work. I'd always pass tests. I'd always answer questions in class. All that.
Yeah, smart kid.
Smart kid stuff. Standard 6, somehow, somewhere, I was like, you know what? Not that I really decided that, but I think that's how I slipped into it. I started playing, I didn't take school seriously, but then again, standard 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's vibes.
But like, I always wanted to get a prize at prize giving. So like, for probably 5 consecutive years since standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I was always getting a prize. Every single year. Then this one year, because your boy also wasn't focused, didn't get a prize giving.
And probably your parents also came to the prize giving.
Hey, that's another
expecting to see something.
Here's the story. Hey, that's a weird story. So that prize giving, because I didn't get a prize, I was crushed, dog. I remember, so what they normally do at school is they announce the prize winners, right? Like well in advance, so that we practice these things. We practice how prize giving is going to be, who's going to sit where. Prize winners don't sit with the common lot.
Hey, segregation already.
Segregation. Yeah, that's just how it was. And I remember the day they were announcing prize winner, just reading through, your regular smart kids in class, reading through. And then they finished the list yesterday 6. I'm like, okay, where am I?
Is it over already? Just like that? Where's my stuff, eh?
Where's my stuff, hey? Then I think after that, like a couple of, I let it slide or when, because then after like a couple of hours, it really hit. Like, yo, bro,
I didn't get anything. Empty-handed.
What?
I'm a commoner.
Going there and coming back, clapping committee, top tier.
Yeah, ne? That's the clapping committee.
Yeah, crashed, John. I'm telling you, I was crashed. So at that time, my mom wasn't working in Orapa. She wasn't working at home. She was working Francistown.
Oh, so she traveled.
No.
Oh,
So I
okay.
didn't tell her. I didn't tell her about prize giving.
Mhm.
And my dad also. I didn't tell my dad about prize giving. Like I didn't tell anyone though. Like it just. I treated it was just a normal day for me. Like, went to school, came back. So no, and like here's the thing, prize giving in the evening. So as a child,
That's the usual time.
you need transport to go there,
Yeah,
and you
so
need transport.
eventually you had to tell them.
I didn't. I made a plan.
What plan? What plan are you making at standard 6?
I mean, Rappa's pretty small, so like I had a friend who was like in the next street.
Yeah, then you just went with his or her parents.
Yeah, I went with his parents, you know, dropped us off. He also after that went back home with them. Just vibes, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like that's
And
how
let me guess, your friend got a prize.
so nah. Hey, I'm not sure. Like at that time, everything I was just focused on me, like
For age, I didn't get. I was
you know,
clapping for others.
dude. Like that's how crushed I was. Like um the fact that I didn't what can I say? Yeah, that's how crushed the fact that I didn't get a prize, such that I didn't tell my parents that there's prize giving. I
Mhm.
mean, like for my parents, particularly for my family, like they make sure they attend prize giving. It's almost like a family tradition. You get
Tradition.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you know, and when I didn't tell them, dog, that's how embarrassed I was that I failed so
yeah.
much.
Wait, but was this at the end of the year?
Yeah, it was
Because
at
that's
the end
usually
of
when
the
prize
year.
giving is. So,
Yeah.
but did you like pass though?
Now here's the thing. So to get a prize in school, you need to get 80%, right? Or
Yeah.
above. Then the top
Wait,
of the
what?
class.
What prize is that?
Oh, academic achievement, like you got an A. Isn't 80% is an A.
Oh, I thought
So that's
you'd like get for being highest in the subject or something.
in my school they didn't have those subject awards. Like,
Oh, that's nice.
no, they weren't those subject awards. The subject awards were for standard sevens only.
Only that's a strange structure, but I guess
So
makes
it's
sense.
just because standard sevens they have already mastered, the syllabus and all that. So might as well award the person who got highest level of achievement. But the only subject that had its own specific award for all classes was Setswana.
Hmm.
Now I don't know why, but I think I know why. Because Setswana was like a specialist subject, sort of like it's like award this kid because he knows Setswana. Why in a private school for crying out loud? Type of
Yeah, true.
thing.
And I guess it was their way of trying to implement Setswana and kind of glorify
Yes,
it because maybe
yes,
it was looked down upon. In private schools, no one
yeah.
really likes Setswana. No one wants to do Setswana.
I think in our school we liked it, we
Mm.
loved it to the fact where the school now had to like ban Setswana from being spoken during school hours
No,
and
I
stuff.
mean
Hey,
actual academic Setswana, not just speaking.
oh,
Because
but hey,
in private schools, they're always like, yeah, no vernacular languages.
true. I think yeah, right. But a lot of like in our school, a lot of kids pass Setswana A's, B's, and all of that.
Yeah, so that means their system worked in that
Yeah, you
because
really.
because like I was saying, they're trying to kind of glorify it and make it
Mhm.
this attractive prospect. So I guess it
Yeah,
worked since there was now high performance in your schools, maybe probably
yeah,
compared to other schools.
I guess so. So ah, yeah. What was I saying? Oh yes, to get an eight to get a prize, you either have to get 80% or above, or the
Mhm.
highest achieving standard student. I was never there. There was only one person for that prize in our class, from standard one till standard seven.
The
So that
Swana prodigy.
no, it wasn't me. 'Cause there was a separate, there was a
That I'm
specific
saying
guy.
that person was a Swana prodigy.
Legit. Like so like I'd say niggas never really, what can I say, bothered themselves so as to
Yeah, they're
kind of
like, why should I even try?
you know
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so and I just let it slide. So I got a 79.
Uh-huh. So you're
That
right there on the cusp.
hurts. Pain.
Yeah,
Pain.
yeah, that one hits different. If you like maybe get a 60, yeah, like I was very far. If you get a 79, it hits different.
79. And just like that prize giving made me look back. Imagine I'm 12 years old and I'm already looking back at my life.
Uh,
Eh,
One of those
but I was looking
experiences
back,
you'll never forget.
at that year, like the number of times I not got in trouble, but like the number of times I handed in homework late or tests I didn't study for, or all that stuff, or just didn't put effort, just get the bare minimum, get your 75%, go home.
Hmm.
The homeworks you get beaten for because you forgot at home, but you didn't do it.
No, you didn't do it.
Yeah, all that stuff. Man, then hey, that's one of my ideas. Then the following day after prize giving, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget the day. My dad decided to take me to school that day. Okay, I'm going to work. Um, we're going to work at the same time. He was going to work at the same time I go to school. So yeah, he decided to take me to school. On the way, I think something clicks to him that it's prize giving season. It's November. It's the end of the month. He's like, Kante, when is your prize giving? Hey.
Too quiet. Yeah, you
I'm
start
like,
stammering.
I didn't even stop. When I said in a low voice, I was like, yesterday. And what do you mean it was yesterday? I'm like, yeah, it was yesterday.
Like,
If I
why
can't
didn't you
forget,
tell us?
hey dog. He's
I
like,
can
why?
just, I can just
I'm
see
like,
this becoming like a rabbit hole that gets deeper and deeper and is spiraling.
dog. I'm like, I didn't get a prize. Why should I tell you?
Wait, did you actually say that?
No, not like why did I tell you, but like I said I did say I didn't get a prize. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't get a prize. And then
No, but then
hey,
that can be debunked because did you know that you're not gonna get a prize? You didn't. So
yeah, I
either way,
did know.
even if you had gotten a prize, they would have still missed your prize giving.
I know I didn't get a prize. Like I said, they announced the prize winners.
They announced before the prize giving.
Yeah, like way before, like a week or 2 weeks before.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
Not something you just walk into prize giving, you know that you're not getting.
Yeah,
Whether
clapping. The
yeah,
clap squad.
clap squad, you know. So
Okay,
that was
since it seems like this really affected you, that means overall your primary experience, was a success. So following that
yeah.
up, what would you say were your earliest experiences of success in primary school?
Okay, after that prize, isn't I went then a 60, after us then a 7, and I think it was necessary I went through such a, should I say a trauma? It wasn't a trauma. Let me not overrate things.
It was just a wake-up call.
Yeah, it was a necessary wake-up call because after that, not only did my parents start taking a real concern over my education, I mean they were, but like, when your parents pretty much know you're a smart kid, so they don't have to put much effort into just making sure you're in school,
Yeah.
you do your work and all that stuff. Yeah, they started getting concerned because obviously for me to reach that point, there had to be some other things stemmed from there,
Mm-hmm.
My mom got me revision books, just my mom actually moved back home. She moved to Rapa. That was just God's grace there at work because like now they set up a new office where she works in Rapa,
Mm-hmm.
and it just made it easier for her to move back. So she didn't have to take big risks in order to like move back home. Things just sort of aligned. So because my mom was home pretty much most of the time, um she could sort of like, what can I say, keep in check with my progress and just help me wherever I need stuff. My dad also would help me revise for tests and all. He'd ask me if I have tests, if I've done homework. And just besides that, I mean, after all, it's my education anyways. I also started to like, hey, Baba, come on, dog. At least get a prize. I mean, at that time, that was a bad motivation, but that was my motivation. Get a prize.
You should at least get something, since a lot of people are putting effort into this
you know?
mini project.
Yeah, and I started to take school somewhat seriously. Like I said, it's then at 7, dog. You don't really take school super. I don't want to be that kid who would refuse going to hang out with his friends just because he has to study for a test. But again, I also didn't want to be that kid who would fail a test because he was hanging out with his friends. So I found a balance. I'd go play, come back home, read, Baba.
Yeah.
Read.
I guess that was a kind of the beginning of your educational journey, you can say, because pretty much before that is let's not lie to each other. It's just you doing assignments.
Just vibes, just assignments.
It's assignments and vibes you get. So I guess you having that experience and seeing that you actually now need to put a bit of extra effort was the beginning of you getting into the work ethic type of mindset, where you have to start putting in the work, and it's no longer just about doing the bare minimum and getting rewarded for that.
I was saying it's no longer just about talent. It's about like, in standard 7, like at that time, a lot of teachers believed in our talent, so as to put it, So you'd also sort of like develop a pseudo belief that, no, I'm talented, I don't need to do this. It's not just about talent. It's about hard work. It's about dedication. Those are the small little things I learned.
Yeah, I guess it's now about the work, and it becomes even more apparent, as you go through the system. You go through high school, you go through A levels, you get into uni, and talent begins to matter less and less, because it's kind of like it begins to be like there's a cut off that begins to happen at each and every stage.
Hey, man, a big one.
Where pretty much everyone now has talent at that stage,
Yeah.
So now you have to kind of set yourself apart.
Yeah. Or even if it's work that doesn't require talent, it's just about hard work.
It's just about hard work, exactly. But of course, there is talent involved there, because talent in itself, as much as we have a preconception of a talent being natural and coming naturally, it's all due to the sequence of events that happens in someone's life.
It's honed, yeah.
It's something that's honed, and it's something that you have spent a lot of your time on.
A lot.
And that's how you begin, to see yourself, or people begin to see you as this extremely talented person in whatever field it may be.
No cap.
So I think for myself,
I was about to ask, what about you?
Yeah, especially in primary school, I think I was pretty lucky because I was surrounded by friends and people who were pretty much motivated to do good, you get. So as for failure experiences, I can't really say I experienced much of that in primary school, because of course I was surrounded by that energy of working hard and healthy competition and all these different things. So that meant, I always did pretty much all right. I think the time when I can start saying where I really started facing certain challenges when it came to my work ethic, when it came to consistency, was maybe in high school. I think you can say. And yeah, I think maybe even then, there was still a level, even if I didn't do as well as I wanted to do, I still did fairly well because of what I see, the people around me. But then now when we got into A levels, it was less about the outside influence I had. Of course, there were you guys and other people I hang out with who, of course, were pretty much had big goals and all these different things, and which was good. But then now it became more about myself and what I wanted and what I was willing to sacrifice in order to take that to the next level. And I think that actually came by in lower six after when I got my lower six results, right?
Yeah,
My
I remember
AS level results. I think we
you
spoke
were
about
happy
it
about them.
in one of the last episodes where yeah, it was. Of course, I didn't fail, but it wasn't a great mark.
Yeah, I was about to say
At
that.
all. It wasn't a
I
great
remember
mark.
we talked about it like just after when you started A2, you know. You know, there was a time you sort of like slipped into not a state of depression, but you know when you feel like you want to rework or like overwork yourself because of the previous, like I don't know if you witnessed yourself, because I witnessed it. I'm like, hey, my G is not okay, and I can see like these
Yeah,
marks.
because when I got the results, I was literally like with my mom. You get, and I was expecting, yeah, I know I'll probably get something cool, something okay. And then it's because we were given, I think we were given a link or something like that, with like a username and a password or something like that.
Remember?
Yeah, so I was with my mom.
First time I did that link thing. Just felt awkward, you know.
Yeah, so we were at home. I was with my mom, and then typed in the whole link thing. Then of course I was expecting, yeah, maybe I got some pretty good grades here and there. Then when I opened it, of course my mom was also expecting the same thing, and then there it was, which was not terrible. Even my mom, yeah, you could see she knew that, yeah, it's not like the worst marks ever, but then it's not like what I wanted and what I expected of myself because of the high threshold I'd set of from myself, from I guess my past grades, from primary all the way up to Form 5 or IGCSE. So even her, I think she was also sympathetic because she was like, how are you feeling about them? And of course, I honestly didn't want to even talk about it. I just want to go and sleep or do something. But then she was very sympathetic. She was like, do you feel like you still want to, continue and go into A2 and what? And then I was like,
question.
Yeah, and I'm actually grateful to my mom for that, because if it was other parents, who have certain levels, it's not everyone would have reacted like that with the level of empathy that she had and level of understanding. And then I decided, yes, I actually want to continue and do A2. And like you said, there was a point in time, I think the first 3 to 4 months of A2, I just locked myself out, and it was just me and books, Of course, I was getting like amazing grades, like shocking myself. But then
killing it.
Yeah, but then of course it came to a place now where I started having burnout, and
which
by
makes
the time we were in May and June, that kind of passion and that desire kind of waned. So I guess I kind of had now to readjust and to kind of strike a balance.
A good one.
I had to find a good balance in between, of course, having that desire, but kind of leaving it for the long run. It's just like having a diet that you're preparing for a marathon, and then you eat, something that you'd eat for a sprint. You get it. It won't end well, because you're going to get easy burnout. So it's better to. So I kind of had to hold back, but at the same time not to slack off. So I kind of had to find that balance, like you were saying, of me being able to enjoy life and not being a, what can I say? I don't know a word for it, but just finding a balance, between enjoying life and kind of refreshing myself, and at the same time putting effort into my academics.
That's the thing, you know. Finding balance, it sounds like it's a hard thing, but it's once you actually start planning your life properly, engage with friends, talk to people who can help you out, hang out with people so that even if you're not talking about the thing, you know, if you hang out with the right people, what you were thinking about will somehow spring up into a conversation and you get more insight and, you know, you see another perspective where you're like, hey, I think I should do this. I think I should do that. Because speaking of A levels, also, you remember, like, I wasn't particularly disappointed in my results, right? But at that point in time in A levels, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I just want to finish this and finish, you know?
Yeah, you kind of had that mindset of, I just want to finish this. I'm kind of tired of it already.
Yeah. So when you have that, I just want to finish mentality, you won't put necessary
100%.
You won't put 100%. You're just gonna say, I just need what I need to get there.
Yeah.
So
And you kind of have that bare minimum mentality.
no cap. So when I started seeing you guys put effort, you know, you Boredwan, KD, and you know, just us also talking about like what we want to do, how we want to do it, how we're studying, how we're keeping up with ourselves and all of that. It somehow sprang up into conversations, and maybe you got a bit out of it, I got a bit out of it, because I feel like I was underworking. So I started to work more than I should, than I need to. I mean,
exactly.
than I actually was.
Then you were, yeah.
You see, you were overworking. So you realized, okay, I need to tone it down a bit and work like how I need to work.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other guys, but they were, you know, everyone sort of like found a nice way of doing things, which was brilliant. And I think that's what failure does. You know, when you fail, you just have to surround yourself with the necessary people at that time.
And the right environment for you at that specific moment in time. Because sometimes, of course, you might need something for a certain time. Like for myself, I needed to realize that I need to strike a balance. I need to have an optimum state. I need to kind of loosen up a bit and, you know, try and work optimally instead of using raw effort and pure will to go through it, which is not always the smartest strategy. So yeah, as you said, it's about surrounding yourself with the correct people, the people who have a correct mindset. And
all the time.
yeah, so that's actually a very important factor when it comes to you having a bad experience, whatever it may be in your life. It's always about surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care about you, one, and two, people who are not afraid to actually tell you the facts and the truth. Because sometimes, you know, we might want to please people and we might want to give people what they want to hear. But that's not always the true sign of real friendship. Because if you're a real friend, you want that person to be the best person they can be. And sometimes that means you have to tell them something that they might not like.
At some, you know, you just have to. It's not nice telling a friend, should I say, painful words or like words that hit hard. But every season there's a time for everything. You have to do, and at some point in time, you have to give people hard words, not sweet nothings, rock solid words that will break them down to build them up.
Exactly.
And I think that's important. I think that's also that's like back to that in the 60s. My dad like that hit me hard, but let me with some hard words, you know. At that point, he was tired of beating me in teenage. But so he just gave me hard words. Like, yeah, no, you can't be doing like that. You know, you're better than that. You know, he didn't, you know, yeah.
So wait, actually, you cut off for like 20 seconds.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
No, that's cool. It was the network.
Oh, I was saying, those words, you need hard words in order to like get better. You need someone to tell you, hey, Baba, no. And that was the case with
that's
my dad.
not how you go with, yeah.
Dad
And that was the
wouldn't, like,
case.
my dad, like, he wouldn't waste time, and, like, you know, if you see something, he will tell me, like, immediately that this needs to change. You're not doing right. If you continue like this is how you end up. Do you want to end up like this? No. So change. Not, no, I know it's tough. No, kota siama. Yay. Those are not the words you need. Those are not the words you need.
Yeah, sometimes those are not the, of course, there has to be a balance. Sometimes you're in a state where that might ruin you. But then
Yeah.
eventually those are words that you have to hear at a certain point in
Yeah.
time. And
True.
also, of course, it's difficult, but you kind of have to learn to accept those things and to see them instead of somebody attacking you, but as constructive criticism. As
Exactly.
something that's trying to build you up and put you in a better state than you're currently in.
That's true. So that's just hey, that's just how it is, you know. And then since you've already jumped to your high school experience, let me see. In high school, okay, I'm not gonna go through. Hey, there's so many in high school. So there's so many.
No, but we can touch on a few.
Okay. Let me, since we talked about an academic one, I feel talk about just academics would be boring, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since both of us kind of we are sporty people. For me, probably during lockdown, not so much, but you know, I try. But before that, I can say I was pretty much a sporty person. You were an individual who liked getting involved in sports, especially like when we went to. For me, especially when I went to JMS, I was exposed to so many different things that I had not been exposed to before. Because when we were at Delta, I think for me, pretty much it was just basketball, because there was no music. It was just academics and basketball, pretty much. There was no music, no theater. You know, they didn't have like the amount of resources that JMS had.
They had.
So I think I really experienced the whole culture of being involved in so many different activities at the same time, mainly in JMS.
And still managing it, you know, still managing it.
Yeah.
That's like the reason I moved to JMS, to be honest, since we're giving sports. It was like the one thing that sold me to JMS was a friendly we had with them.
Football.
Like, yeah, football match. Friendly football match. Oh, no,
did you get walloped?
Oh, we got walloped. But I mean, that team, top team, as a top team, is a team that won ISA, if I'm right. Or is it second or something? But it was a top team. Like, adult. Oh, no, it was that 2016 team, yeah, ISA. So we went there. At that time, I was a goalkeeper, and I was also top performing. Like,
how did they make you a goalkeeper though?
That's a very funny story. Let me just give it to you now.
You're like 5'9".
Background.
5'10".
I know.
Why?
But
and you're probably way shorter than, because you did say that you had like a growth spurt.
Yeah, you see. So like, how I became goalkeeper, there was this, when I was in Form 2, I used to play as a left back or left wing, anything on the left, you know.
But because you're left-footed.
Yeah, never really left midfielder. Midfield was just too busy for me. So I was either left back or left wing. So like, that day I was on the bench. There was a friendly that day and I was on the bench. One of the guys got injured. One of the goalkeepers got injured. He sprained his finger. So like, he absolutely couldn't
do anything with his hands. Yeah,
couldn't do anything with his hands. And he was the only goalkeeper the school had at that time.
Ish.
And they're like, we need a goalkeeper. What's the deal? You know, everyone's like, no, that guy. Like, Scaife. I mean, we have nothing to lose anyways.
Yeah, bring the team.
Yeah, I got in that guy's oversized, kid. He gave me his big size 11 gloves.
Yeah, utla hola ka tsone.
All I got on the type of gloves,
Yeah,
and
you got hand-me-downs for gloves. Ish.
no, it was just for that match, and I got it. And I did quite a decent job. Like from the time I got in till like the match ended, I think I kept a clean sheet. Like I didn't let any.
Boys.
So now I just can't passed it out, and then niggas are like, "But you're a good goalkeeper, dog.
Yeah, you're decent.
You're not the tallest, but you're good. You're quite acrobatic. So why don't you just be a backup keeper to this guy?" I mean, I bet I got nothing to lose.
Yeah, because it
Sure.
means more game time for you, since that means you have
Exactly.
multiple positions. So you're like Scaife.
And you see, that guy he got injured, so he was gonna spend like some weeks without playing.
So which meant that you were first team already, just like that.
I was already first team. So there were two teams, junior team, senior team. Now because that guy was in the senior team and he got injured, I was first team for both. Like I was
Junior.
playing.
Or you're playing as maybe a left-sided player for the junior team and then as a goalkeeper for senior.
Now I was moved to straight full-up goalkeeper,
For both sides.
For both sides.
Well, that was a quick promotion.
I think there was no other goalkeeper. But yeah, and I have great hand-eye coordination. I mean, I played cricket, I played softball, I've dabbled a bit in volleyball, hockey,
Yeah.
So like my hand-eye coordination is quite amazing. And the sports I played, cricket, softball, I was on first team for all of them. So like
you had pretty much experience with
catching a ball.
Catching a ball.
Yeah, to me, like I broke it down to that basic task: catch a ball, bro. Like
and that's it.
All. Catch. Don't need to work about Mourinho tactics. Hey, the defense should be Hey, if it's
super keeper.
Hey, I don't know, super keeper. Catch the ball by all means.
That's it.
Yeah, So like I got better at it. I started to like really dive into like goalkeeping. I watched Peter Cech videos. Like at that time, he was the first team Chelsea keeper.
Let me guess, you're watching the highlights on YouTube.
Heavy highlights. I studied the game. I studied how I studied sweeper tactics. I watched Manuel Noah and all that stuff, and just I became a great goalkeeper. At the end of the year, I was awarded Player of the Year. Like not just
Hey, boys.
Player of the Year. Player of the
What
Year.
an interesting 10 of events.
So that's just my short backstory of how I became a keeper. So, okay, that year, Form 2, we played GMS. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't care about GMS at that time. Like, it was just another school to me. Yeah. I was still in Form 2,
So, yeah.
Let me say, it was just another private school. Just another fancy private school.
Yeah.
So, that's all it was to me at that time. And then in Form 3, we couldn't play football because of something regarding the school burnt down. So like, that's another story. Another story. So like basically, the sports year in Form 3 was nullified because of the events that are happening in the school at that time. Yeah. And then Form 4 came and sports was now getting back up. Now I'm a senior. I'm now in the first team automatically, and all the vibes. Now I've like spent 2 years mastering this craft of being a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So now I'm preparing for the GMS match. We go there, and that match again also, I'm now sort of like digressing, but I think we deserve to prepare a little bit more for that match because we lost that match, not a failure. I learned a lesson from. We lost that match because of lack of preparation. The niggas wouldn't pitch up for practice. Once you give petty excuses, we didn't really have a coach also, so people were pseudo coaches. They claiming to, hey, no, I know the tactics. This is 4-3-3. Hey, 4-3-3. Mister, let's jam and play. Like, Owns would focus more on, hey, now I want to play center mid. Hey, I want to win number 7. Instead of getting that fitness intact, niggas would just pull up, and then when we were doing or working on that fitness, they would be lambing that like it took idiots. Like you do pass a ball. You know how Owns are.
Yeah.
Owns are just so stubborn. So we didn't prepare for the match. And then we went to GMS, and I was just focused like on my task, catching the ball.
Catching the ball, that's it.
That was it. First half, it was brilliant, clean sheet. First half, 0-0. Like, we had an amazing backline.
Owns were solid.
For attack, we had when Owns were solid, big chunky Owns, man. Niggas who are like the guys we fielded at the back, man. Those yeah, our left wing back and our right wing back.
You're playing a 3-back system.
No.
Oh, you mean actual fullbacks?
Yeah, fullbacks. I mean, not wing back. Hey, our left back and our right back, those guys were athletic. They could run and they were tall. So, like, it was just a brilliant defense. But we didn't have a good enough attack to get the goals in.
Yeah.
So, like, first half 0-0, Now, because, again, we don't have a good attack, niggas would recover the ball from their counter-attack. So our defense was always being in countering. At some point, you crack under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, that's true. Eventually, it's going to happen.
Yeah, we conceded 2 goals. Both of them were set pieces. I think one was a corner. The other one was a free kick. Hey, Regan, dog. Hey. That was the first time I saw Regan.
They're like, this guy's techers, eh?
Regan's free kick, dog. I had my hand on it, but that ball still went in, dog. Perfect placement, perfect power, dog.
Yeah, I know the guy. The guy's a baller. The guy's a true baller.
I know, he's a true baller. So yeah, and then, after that match, some guy I knew who studied there. He just decided, dog, let me just show you around JMS, and all. Because like there was still time till we went back to school. He just showed me around the place. He introduced me to some new people and all that stuff. I just felt so. I'm like, this is where I have to be, bro.
This is it. This is the place.
Yeah, I met Mr. Chagawa. He was he's a soccer coach.
Yeah. Do you play football?
Like, no, you should come study here. You should come. You're a good player.
What do you play? Goalkeeper, fullback.
What do you play? Actually, promoting us go. But yeah, no. When I really did my best, He we talked, and he's like, nah, you should come here. And I was really hell bent on to go into JMS from that day onwards. And JMS has this thing also, when they're hosting a friendly, like it's after lunch and when everyone's free, so like people come watch.
Yeah.
The hands.
Yeah, the hands are there as well. It's all vibes.
And then,
I definitely should come to JMS.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna focus. Yeah, then niggas go show you the hands playing hockey, the hands playing netball, the hands doing other stuff. Hey,
and from what I'm told, like from 27, like pre-2017, 2018, JMS had hands. So I'm guessing around during that time. And then you had extra motivation.
Yeah. So like I was like, if I do A levels, this is where I'm coming. And I'm not thinking twice about it. So yeah, things happened and I came. And that's just how I got there. It was an amazing. How do we talk
I think for me, like the way I heard about JMS because of Enoch, because isn't it he came the year before. And then they're like, yeah, that's where Enoch is, and my parent and my mom didn't, especially my mom. My dad probably didn't mind, but my mom didn't want me to be far away from them. So probably they didn't want me to, because one of the other options was either I go to Gabs or I go to Zim.
Hey.
You get, so they're like, let's get you closer to home. So like Francistown JMS, good school. Delta was about to have A levels, but you know what? Let me not comment. But yeah, then I think it was on a December holiday because we had actually gone to Zim, like the December before Lower 6. And then we had passed through Francistown, and then we had gotten to JMS, and Mr. Chakawa was there. I don't know what he was doing there during the holidays. Probably he heard that we were coming or something. Then they showed us around the school. I'm like, hey, fancy place, eh? Fancy place. So I was like, yeah, I like this place.
Fancy.
It's a dope place. So yeah, and then came to JMS. But funny thing is, actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, school actually started before IGCSE results are out.
Yeah, it's not like a day or two before they come out.
Yeah, I'd actually been accepted before that because of the whole mock exam thing and what. But then for some reason, me, my parents, everyone were just under the impression that school opens the week after the results are out. Yeah. So these guys, so Mr. Was it? Who was it? Who's the principal? Yeah, I forgot the name. Yo, snap. I'm so sorry, Mr. Lampard. Mr. Lampard called my mom. Then he was like, Kanti, where is this guy? School has started. And I was actually sitting in bed or something, probably watching series or something. And then my mom was like, Mr. Lampard just called it. I think it was at around 9 in the morning. 8, 9 in the morning. And then she was like, Bathquake, yeah, taking the next bus to Francistown. And then I took like
don't die.
Yeah, and then they did this, and then already we had been pre-planning with Mama Kwaiba about my accommodation stuff. So at least that was in order. So they just had to be like, okay, he's going to come probably a bit earlier than expected, because they want him at school. And then I got on the 9 o'clock bus. And that was another drama because this other lady was just blaming everyone for stealing. I think she lost her money or something. And first it was this small kid who was with her parent. I'm like, do you know where my money is? Then she was like, no. Then those guys came out, and then I was the next victim because I was also sitting next to her. And then they're like, this guy stole my money. Hey, what? And then they stopped at some place when there was police. And then, and then other people, luckily for me, they defended me because, I was just a small kid. On my way to Francistown, they're like, this guy, he just got dropped by his mom. Or blah, blah. He could never do something like that, but she had lost her mind. And then, I was innocent. So, got back into the combi, got to Francistown, I think around 6 p.m. 5, 6, and then my mom came and picked me at the rank. And then I landed, and then I think you're the first person I saw. It was either you or around, I'm not sure. And you're in a vest or something. Yeah, I think I remember. You're in a vest, you had a fade. I was like, F-boy.
Yay! The fade days.
Yeah, and then I ended up going the next day to school with home clothes. And Ons thought I was a thug because of that hat, of the bucket hat. Like, hey, let's come to JMS. But that's how I ended up in JMS.
Yeah, like I was saying, so like in the sport world, the biggest failure, probably my biggest failure. I'm not gonna talk about that one because it really didn't affect me much. I just knew it was a failure. I learned the mistake, quickly moved on. Like it wasn't something that dragged me. But my biggest failure was now individual sports, particularly athletics, particularly distance running. So it's 2018. We're now 2018, January of 2018. Athletic season. It's athletic season that term, and it's now chops. Like Inter has just ended. Chops is now about to come. Yeah, so there's a month interval between Interhouse and Chops. That month interval, there was lots of rain. It was like rainy pool. It was a rainy
When was
season.
it, 2017 or 2018?
2018, both months it was rainy. 2017 was Janelle. That was too much rain. But 2018 was also raining, but not. So isn't because of 2017, I think they delayed athletics a bit because of that whole Janelle situation.
Janelle.
So yeah, hurricane, bruv.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. The one which came from Mozambique, is it the one?
Yeah,
yeah. I totally forgot about that. Yo.
Yeah. So what happened was me, I didn't take. Okay, it's time out.
No, it's not time out. Forget them.
Like an hour has elapsed. That's what I mean.
Yeah, we'll just make it a few more minutes and then round up.
Yeah, I'll just wrap up this story. So like it was athletics season, and I'm a distance runner at that time. I think you knew about that. I'm a distance runner. I was captain on a school team, all that stuff. So there was lots of pressure for me to not overperform, but to perform.
Yeah, true.
And I also wanted to get a good time, record a good time, get a good position,
and enjoy the experience,
and enjoy the race. Now when it started raining, I stopped training, dog.
Yeah, to see it so.
I'm like, bro, where am I gonna train?
It seems like you forgot about the Mopato guys. Those guys beasts.
TBH, I couldn't train anyway, like, I mean, it's raining, dog.
Yeah, it's partly, it's wet.
Yeah, so like, okay, the rain stopped, then I started training immediately afterwards. But I mean, like, I missed out on 2 weeks of training, and with distance running, if you miss out on like 2 weeks,
yeah, back to square one.
Back to square one.
I know.
I remember my first training session. Oh no! Hey, but I felt like that.
Just running 1.5.
Dog.
Yeah, you'll be breathing heavy. And it will just be a couple of weeks, hell.
Dude, at that time, my plan was to run a 1.5 in like 5:10. And I was getting 5:10, 5:13, 5:11, consistent time. Then I took that 2 weeks. That first 1.5 afterwards, 5:45. I was like,
Hey, now imagine. Now imagine if you had gone for slightly longer than that, probably going to the 6 minutes.
Dude. So yeah, then I go itemize. We go into, it's now inter school. 1.5 is like the first event, dog. Yeah, I was so scared, dog, because I knew I didn't train. I was terrified, just things were just not adding up, and I was just panicking.
Yeah, and also because there's additional hype, people are talking like, hey, that Mopato guy, he runs for boards, blah blah blah, or this guy from Clifton, what, all these different things. Yeah.
This Mopato guy, the one tall guy, one short guy. Muna. Those guys are just lying there, like, yeah, I got this. Nothing strange. Just a normal day.
Chilled. Because these guys have probably been doing it like for months and months on end.
Yeah, you see, and as we also start training long distance like way late into the year.
Yeah, late, very late.
So, Muna, yay! And my only target was the Mopato guys. Beat the Mopato guys. Keep up with the Mopato guys. Go at the same pace with the Mopato guys. They slow down, you slow down. They keep up, you keep up. And I forgot about everyone else. Forgot about all the other competition. And that's the biggest mistake I made. So the race starts. I'm keeping up with the Mopato guys. These guys are keeping a high pace. They're keeping a whole big gap, a high strategy. It starts off good. First lap, I'm with them. Second lap, I'm with them. Somewhere in between the third lap, like halfway between the third lap, these guys now start pulling away. And I'm like, okay, it's item there. Let me just keep the pace away. Let me just keep it. And I'm now tired. Like I said, I didn't train a lot. I'm not tired, but I'm just like, keep a steady pace, keep up. Muna. One Clifton guy just passes me.
God.
Like he's just having a nice day in the office, Dog, another flamingo guy also. He just like it's a nice, lovely day. Nigga, have you been practicing on the pans or something? He's rocking the pen. Now I'm like, fifth position. Oh no, it's hurt, dog. I didn't express it.
Because
But
you
like
had
that was
that
my
goal probably
ace.
from like the beginning. Actually, from the end of the previous ISA, probably you're like, I wanna get this. So it's probably been like a year in waiting. And
Exactly.
then
I'm like
that.
a year in waiting for this only to get fifth. Mona, it's hurt, dog.
Yeah, it be like that sometimes.
Yeah, so I got my fifth position. I got my L. But then I went back home. Like I spent a long time thinking about this, dog. Like, I was like, come on, bro. Okay, it's just inter-house, but come on, bro. I mean, inter-schools. No one really cares. It's not like it's gonna land you a BSA, gig to go run in the Olympics or something. But like, come on. I'm like, okay, dude. Okay, what did you do wrong? So yeah, I started to think about what I did wrong. Okay, one thing I did wrong. I selected you in practice. Okay, fine. That's one thing I did wrong. Another thing, I probably needed more training, like guided training. Like there's a time I teach, our coaches they just let us down.
Like, bro, do your thing.
You just do your thing. You'll be alright, just take a couple of rounds, you'll be alright. I was like, I'm gonna. And another thing, I was also panicking. When you panic, your game strategy changes.
Like everything goes upside down. Yeah, definitely.
So I learned from there. You don't panic when you're in the presence of competition. Oh, another thing is I forgot there was other competition, like the more part of the Flamingo guy and Clifton guy. Honestly,
yeah, already you had put them out of the equation before the race even started.
Knocked them out. But what's weird is I ran under the previous record.
Oh, okay.
One of those guys, the guys of Pato, they tore apart that. They tore apart that record. They demolished it like a whole 30 seconds, dog.
That's crazy.
You tear away almost 30 seconds of a record.
Yeah, these guys, they were committed to this thing. Because I think with Pato, if I'm not mistaken, they probably trained throughout the year. For us, it's just a term one thing and that's it.
That's it, They train throughout the year and then apparently they focus only on track. So like,
that's their thing.
It's that thing. But yeah, I learned from that and I moved on.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing with basketball. When I was playing basketball in GMS and MAP, because Mara Pula, they train throughout the year. And these guys, they travel to both states to have friendlies and all these different things. So they're actually serious about it. For us, it's just a term 2 thing. Practice for 2 months, you go to ISA. Then that's it.
Bana's like, okay, who's going with me? He takes
then Bana, right, guys, who's going with me? Like me, then owns go, we pay monies, we do our thing, we come back. First year when we went, which was, I think we were in lower 6, we definitely lost 6. We did really well. We got to the semifinals, of course, against MAP. First half, we killed it, we were winning. And then everyone was shocked. I was like, these guys are actually winning. Then second half, of course, fitness caught up with us. And overall quality, the guys just started their 3-pointers after 3-pointers, and we eventually lost. So yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. But of course, it did teach us kind of the need for consistency when you want to perform at the highest level. Even with my first ISA, because in the second ISA I couldn't go because I think I was 19, right? Yeah, because it was no over 18, I think. Even though it was open, but then people over the age of 18 were not allowed to compete. So I couldn't compete in the second one. But the first one which I competed in, I actually didn't train properly. I was even with you. I think I only went for like 1 run, but I still did the what do you call it, the 1.5 in the house, and I got demolished by Owens Nigel. Owens were just running. Owens were gone.
I didn't run that 1.5. I was like, when I saw the Nigels, 2 Nigels.
Yeah, the Nigels.
I was like, I just go run, now I'm out. Now I'm out.
Yeah, for me, I didn't train because isn't it at Delta, no one took these things seriously. You just go there for vibes. So I kind of went there with that mentality, and then
when you come with that mentality, your vibes.
Yeah, but luckily enough because I also did high jump in the same event. Like because of natural talent, I managed to I think I got second. Is it second or third? And then I went to Chops representing JMS. So with that one, I was kind of lucky. But I also did that whilst having an injury because my jumping technique was so risky, dog. I kept on barely making it on the mat.
Jumping like a jumping fences.
Bruh. No, not like I was jumping. I think the way I was jumping towards the end of the other bar. Because let's say I'm coming from the left, I didn't jump towards the center. I jumped towards more to the right. So that means momentum took me almost off the mat. And then I got a strain on my leg. So also that's why I probably didn't do well in the 1.5 and 800 because I had a pulled hamstring. So I was running with the pulled. So yeah, it was a mad thing. And I think second year something similar happened, but of course, unfortunately, Miss Van der View was like, bro, you're too old. Sorry. So I couldn't, because I actually wanted to run long distance. I think you know this. I really wanted to do 800 and 1.5. And I'd also been training for it. We'd also been training together with the
marathon
club.
Together.
With the marathon club and stuff like that. Yeah, what. And I was making good times and all that. And then they just said, sorry, fam.
Like Miss Van der Vee. LKZ runs with people that are old.
Bruh, I saw owned bears running these chopped items.
Just plug your boy.
Grown man.
I'm like, just plug your boy, you know.
Yeah, just plug your 1-2.
No one's gonna notice. You just shave.
Yeah, no one will say anything. So unfortunately, I couldn't compete in that one. But yeah, I guess the thing which I learned about the failures I had was one, never take some of these things just as vibes. Don't just take them lightly. And also, two, you have to have a level of consistency if you want to actually be the best at something.
That's true,
which is a cliche, but I guess it's something that I took out of it.
That's also what I learned is just take stuff seriously, you know. Take it like it's the last day of your life.
Yeah, true.
Leave a mark type of things. So yeah, I think we've really touched on this, man. Like there are lots of failures that make us great people. There are lots of bad things we experience that sometimes have to happen in order to teach us a lesson. And even nowadays, when I fail, I know what I just know two things I have to do: find out why and fix it. And at the end of the day, if you just fix it or work on fixing it, it's gonna get better and better and better with time.
Yeah, and also another important thing is that people should realize some mistakes might, cling on to you longer than you expect them to do. And some things you only be able to figure out what they're about in retrospect over a long period of time. So probably you won't find an immediate solution, but don't give up. That consistency which you are talking about, always working on that thing, whatever it is that may be bugging you, eventually you'll be able to crack it and, actually come out a better person for it.
You see? So that's just how it is. So I think in respect to our time, I mean, there are lots of stories we can tell, but let's just...
Yeah, we're trying to keep it short and watchable as well. Concentration span is an issue. And for myself, if this was to go on for any longer, probably I would switch off. Because I'll be like, I've had a bit too much of it. So we try to keep it limited. We try to keep it watchable. And for you to have the desire to come back here again and watch more of our videos.
So like I'm doing this vlog thing. I'm taking a video of me doing this vlog thing. So yeah, it's just like 10 seconds. The vlog is more like a personal diary, sort of like to also make me do things so that I get to document them.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it's nothing serious, I just want to document things that I do. So in order for me to document something, I have to do it.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Go ahead, be my guest.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I've done it. Yeah. And yeah, I think you can just call it a day.
Yeah, I think we can call it a day. I'll just do the outro. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget also turn the notification bell as well so that you know when we upload our next video. So this has been us. Yeah. You also say something?
I have a quick thing to say as well. We are now available on digital platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all these other podcasting platforms, Pocket Casts and Google Podcasts. So check us out. There'll be links in the description below.
Yeah, check us out as well. Like you said, they'll be in the description below. If you don't feel like watching videos of us and seeing our faces, you can go and stream us on those sites. So this has been us. This has been the show engineer Tinotanda Masimba Togara. See you guys in a bit. Take care and peace.
Safe.